Hello, Vassia.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. You're the founder of Anti-Loneliness, and you're helping clients from mental stress to mental strength. And today we are here to speak about identity, cultural background, and how that influences the existence of fear of failure and perfectionism, right?
Yes.
So tell me first a little bit more about you.
Well, I'm a psychologist. I came here 11 years ago. I came here in the Netherlands. I am Greek in origin. And one day I decided that I want to live abroad. I would like to live in a multicultural environment and to meet people from different countries. This is so interesting and exciting for me. So I came here to the Netherlands and I did a second master in psychology, and after that I founded Anti-Loneliness, as you say. This is my practice. Back then in the beginning it was a solo practice, but now it's a practice with 15 psychologists working in many cities in the Netherlands: Haarlem, Amsterdam, The Hague, Leiden and Rotterdam. And we hope that we will keep expanding, of course.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But we really love supporting our community. And there's something, I mean, we're going to talk more about that. There's something about knowing the challenges of being an international, an expat, somebody who leaves their country and comes to a new country and starting over. And this is what I hear from all my clients. They do want a therapist that knows these challenges, that knows that there's something deep, something existential in somebody who's changing their lives, uprooting and creating roots again in a new country. They really want their therapist to know about that so that they can, of course, start connecting and relating in a therapeutic relationship.
That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
It's all about the perfect match, right?
Yeah.
between the client and the therapist.
Yeah.
Also, speaking about perfectionism, you're all over social media with what you have been through regarding to perfectionism. You have relived it, or not relived it, but you have lived it and you have recovered from it. Or as you said in one of your writings, I am still recovering from it.
Yeah.
But talk to me first about like your Greek background.
Yeah.
Because how does it relate to the perfectionism?
That's a good question. So I will always say that I'm still recovering because I think it's part of your DNA at some point. You just cannot get rid of it. It's a really strong mindset. Of course, the more you heal from it, the less strong it is. So it doesn't control you, it doesn't manage your life. But of course, there's going to be traces of it in your life, and sometimes you will feel inclined to do something that your perfectionist self would want to do. So in my case, my perfectionism comes from a culture that it gives a lot of importance on what other people think. It's a collective culture. Greek people, they do things together, they value each other, they want to belong. So when you start filtering your actions through what other people will think about your life, that creates a whole new level of existence. You don't only exist for yourself, but also for other people. You have to question your actions. What will other people think? Does it fit with their culture? Does it fit with their needs? Are they going to be okay? If they're not going to be okay, are they going to be mad at me? How am I going to deal with that? How am I going to please them? So perfectionism and people pleasing goes very well together. So then you create, in some cases, even a facade, a persona that you show on other people. Also in the Greek culture, boundaries are a little bit loose, which means that
there are no boundaries.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Your life is enmeshed with other people's lives. I remember when I was a teenager. No, sorry, not a teenager. Actually, I was in my years of university, and my extended family knew about my relationship with my back then boyfriend. So while we were sitting in a family dinner, they considered very correct to ask about my love life in front of everybody. So how's it going with your boyfriend? So what are you doing? So how are you going to spend your holidays? which for me was really, really intrusive.
And were there family members
Yeah.
present
Yeah,
who didn't know about the relationship? Or...
Yeah, of course. So you understand the boundaries, as you said, there are sometimes even non-existent. And this is where the clash happens, the clash of values. If somebody aligns with these values, they can have a really happy life. They don't care. They just, update the whole family about their whole life, and they're happy to go. But if you're not that kind of person, then you really suffer. For me, it was really difficult to think that my needs do not fit in there. If I want to say no, for example, to a family dinner, I had no option. It's a family dinner, you have to come. What will your uncle say? I don't know, and I don't care because I don't want to come.
Yeah, that's such an interesting remark, because I recognize it also from where I'm coming from. I have a Chinese cultural background, and it's about what other people think about your presence or your absence.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And I was like, but how do you think that will convince me? Like, well, what is the importance of that? Because I think also, being brought up in a collective culture, I think what's missing in that is that, from my experience, that they didn't explain to me how it worked.
Yeah.
It was just like, it has to be like this.
Yeah.
And that really affected me, because I thought, like some kind of rebel just came up, right? Did you have that same experience? Like...
Absolutely. I'm a questioner, which means that I will do what you say, but first I have to find a why that resonates with me. I'm not going to say no for the sake of no. That's the rebel, right? But I want to have the option to say yes or no based on a reason that is reasonable for me. So I have to ask first, but why do we need to do that? But why do I have to go there? But why do I have to dress like this? If you give me an explanation that fits, and I understand it, and fits with my understanding and my values, yes, all the way, I agree, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yes. Did you receive answers
No.
to your questions?
No, sometimes there were no answers. Like, for example, I'm going to give you another cultural example. In Greece, we're Christian Orthodox. So sometimes you have to abide by some rules that make zero sense. So, for example, my mom said, well, we have to go to the church and you have to wear a skirt. But why do I have to wear a skirt? Yeah, just because. Just do what I say. Just because it says so. The book or the religious book or whatever. And that didn't make any sense to me. What is that about my skirt having a connection with the church or with God or with anything? So if I don't understand it, I'm not going to do it. Or I'm going to do it, and then we come back to the question about perfectionism. I'm going to do it, but that's my facade. I have to do it. I'm going to do it only short term. It's not a sustainable strategy for me until eventually I have the freedom. I find my freedom to get rid of this have to or should or must, and then I'm going to do whatever I want. But it's a journey, of course, to find what I want. Because all my life I was doing what other people want. So it's a journey to find myself again. That's the journey healing from perfectionism.
Yes. How long did it take to heal from perfectionism? No, it's still an ongoing process, right? But I mean, you have been through the biggest hurdles in that process.
Yeah. I think if you're consistent about that, and depends, of course, on how much you work on that. And how much convinced you are that you don't need it. I'm working with a lot of people that they do the work, but they're not 100% convinced that they don't need their perfectionism. So they will go back to the pattern again, and they will be like, you know what? Maybe the first time it didn't work with my perfectionism, but now I'm going to make it work. Now you will see that perfectionism works.
So they have a really strong and loving connection to perfectionism.
Yeah, or, when we're talking about perfectionism, we're talking about pushing ourselves to the extreme. So they think that I can make it work when I'm pushing myself to the extreme. Well, okay, let's see.
Yes. Yeah. So just to elaborate a little bit more about the Greek culture that you're coming from, like for the last 11 years you have been living here, and before that you were in Greece.
Yes.
Right? So I suppose lots of the characteristics of that, your cultural background, is ingrained in your system. Like in what ways do you still live those aspects of your Greek background?
Ah, okay. So I kept the fun part.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
So, for example, once in a while we're gonna, put some music on, like Greek music, or maybe some Greek YouTube videos, and we're gonna get some wine, and we're gonna create, like a platter with snacks, and we're going to have a Greek night at home, for example. So I've kept the fun part. And even though tomorrow we're working, it's okay. We just felt like having a fun night in a spontaneous and in more impulsive way, embracing, the Greek mentality, and then we're gonna do it. So that's one thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Without thinking like, okay, tomorrow we have to work, or you have to work, but it's like we're just loosening up and we're in the moment.
Yeah. If I would do that the Dutch way, for example, I would say, let's check our calendars. When do we have free time for some fun? Yeah, I can see in 2 months from now. Let's book it in our agenda. But we're not doing it in that strict way,
no.
let's say.
Yes.
We're just allowing a little bit of spontaneity.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah. Not every day, of course, but...
Oh, well, that works along with recovering from perfectionism, right?
Yeah, true.
So different parts are, positive for, the healing process.
Yeah, of course. And to bring in a little bit of brain science, allowing connection, allowing fun, playfulness is what oozes our system with oxytocin, which is the hormone of happiness, of joy. So the more opportunities of joy we create, the more our system fights cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and creates even more oxytocin. That's why we feel more happy, more content, more calm in our life.
Yes, and that's a fantastic way to deal with fear. Yes. Yes, because also from my own practice working with clients, perfectionism is so interrelated with the fear of failure. So could you say something about like how that came into our personal lives from a cultural perspective?
I think is the FOPO, fear of other people's opinion, as we say. FOPO.
Okay.
We have FOMO,
Yes.
fear of missing out. We have FOPO, fear of other people's opinion, where we are constantly compared with other people. And that means that the moment we find, or somebody else finds, that we are different from somebody else, then we feel that we have failed. And I'm going to give you an example, a ridiculous example of fear of failure, or of failure actually. So I remember that I was about 10 years old, and some family friends were over, and the couple were friends with my parents, and they had a daughter, and the daughter was a friend of mine. And we were exactly the same age. So I remember when they're about to leave the house, the visit is over and they have to go to their place, then everybody's standing close to the door, and somebody has the idea to put both of us, me and my friend, on the wall and compare our height. And then she was, I don't know, a couple of centimeters taller than me, and they were like, oh, Vassia, you see, your friend is taller than you. So I remember that example, filled, of course, with a little bit of embarrassment because, I failed here. I didn't manage to be taller.
Oh no.
But also with some confusion. What am I supposed to do with that now? Am I going to stretch myself, before I go to bed just to get taller? So it's ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous,
It's ridiculous.
Situation, yes.
And there's nothing making sense in that comment. But that's the culture. Like, you have to compare yourself all the time. Who is taller? Who is more successful? Who has A's? Who has A plus? All the time you have to compare. And I'm writing a book now on perfectionism, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of a sneak peek. I start the book with another example where I come back from school with the results of an exam. And I was really happy because I got an A. I was really happy. I was like, oh, I'm going to tell my mom and she's going to be happy. And I go home and I tell her, like, I got an A. And her question is, how did your friend Angela did in that test? And I say, yes, he got an A plus.
My heart just sank. You know?
Exactly. So why didn't you get an A plus as well? So that's in my book. That's the moment that I remember the perfectionism storming into my life and creating these beliefs that why not more? You could do more. Why not? So that's the pushing. That's the hamster wheel of perfectionism. You can do better. You can do more. Come on, work a little bit more.
And not being happy or content with the now, with what you have achieved, and just expressing their gratitude and proudness, you know, of you.
Exactly, and celebrating it, and being even grateful and happy with the effort. You know, there are people that they are trying a lot, but maybe that doesn't manifest in an exam paper. It doesn't matter. The effort is what matters. But then, of course, that's not the culture. Especially in the Greek culture, we really value diplomas, certificates, degrees, titles, accolades, you know, all these things. And we talk about it a lot. In the discussions, you'll see somebody saying, you know, your friend, remember, she got an extra degree, for example, or she got married to a doctor, a really good guy. He's a doctor. So it's all about the title. And then, of course, you absorb that. You learn that. You feel that you are worthy if you have a full CV of titles and certificates and degrees. Otherwise, you're not. You're useless.
That's horrible.
I don't want to make you feel depressed.
No, but no, it's good to hear about this because I believe many people suffer from perfectionism and the fear of failure, and it all comes down to who are you and what do you believe you are. You know, and coming from a strong collective culture, it's really difficult to get to know yourself. Because there are so many hurdles, so many expectations, and it's difficult to rebel against that. And I think it really helps to go to another country and to start a new life, because it really helps.
Well, can I add to that?
Yes, of course.
Sometimes the physical distance doesn't make up for the emotional investment. So you can go to thousands of miles away from your home country, from your relatives, from this system, but still you carry this voice in your head.
I know, it's here.
Exactly.
It's in your whole system.
And I see it many times. Internationals that I'm working with, expats, not only they have this loneliness that they are here, they have nobody, they have to start over. That's a huge challenge. But also they have this voice in the head that says, make sure you will be the first one, make sure you will be the best one. And that's a double effort. Not only I have to start over, but I have to be the first one, but I have to be the best. I don't allow myself to go slowly. I have to be the first in 1 year or in 2 years. And then, of course, they crash because they try double than all the other peers in their environment.
Yeah, so the emotional enmeshment is still there, and it still needs to be worked on for one to feel better about themselves and so that they have more like positive behavior and thinking patterns.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, but the distance helps. I think.
It helps.
Yeah.
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 It helps. Yeah, absolutely. But we have to do this conscious work of, killing a little bit of this voice, and truly working on the finding who we really are. For sure, something attracted us in this country, something about the values. I like, for example, when in the Dutch culture they have this doe normaal. You don't need to be the best one.
Doe normaal, dan doe je al gek genoeg.
Yeah, exactly. You are enough. You don't need to be on the spotlight. You don't need to be the best. Yeah, of course. You are accepted exactly as you are. No?
Yes. But it makes me think of other types of remarks, which are more Calvinistic, and it also, it makes someone believe that it's just be normal and don't be someone else, or don't be too daring.
Yeah.
Don't express yourself too much, but just be just like the others, and then
that can be the other side of it. The light side can be, like I can allow you to be yourself. The dark side of it can be you have to suppress yourself and be like everybody else. Like don't stand out, as you said. So of course there's good and bad in every aspect of or every culture. There's good and bad side. And it depends on how you interpret it. It depends on the people that you meet and how they interact with you. And
that's right. Oh, talking about this subject, what interests me is that when people move to another country, that they share that, oh, wow, this has been the best decision ever, because like the values of this country and the freedom of this country, or maybe other characteristics that fit much more with their personality, right?
Yeah.
So could you elaborate on that, maybe from a personal point of view, or working with your clients?
You mean like me coming here to the
Yes,
Netherlands?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, what I liked was, again, the boundaries being more strict, but not in a negative way. Yeah? I mean, you have your life and I don't mess with it. You make your choices, I don't mess with it. There's this freedom that you can be yourself, you can make your own choices, define your own life. We don't define your life together. We don't sit at the family table defining your next boyfriend or your next vacation, for example. You can do as you want. That for me was really liberating. That was one thing. I had another thing in my mind, and then it slipped. It was about the boundaries. I remember an example. For example, you can also dress as you like, and that maybe it seems like simple, but for me
it's not simple.
Yeah,
it
made an impression to me because in Greece we would judge other people
by their appearance,
by their appearance,
by their outfits.
Yeah. So we would go, on the shopping center, and I would still remember my sister, my mother, my aunt. She would be like, look what she's wearing. This is really bad at her. Or look at her hair. Why did she need to paint them blue? Come on. And we would judge everybody, even though it's not our business. And I didn't feel comfortable, but I was like, yeah, maybe everybody does it.
Yes.
So when I came here, nobody would say anything about what color is your hair, why you're dressing like that, why it's winter and you're wearing shorts, or why it's summer and you're wearing boots. I don't know.
So you were like, oh, I'm having more breathing space now.
Yeah, and it's not about me being dressed as I want. I mean, I didn't have any problem with that, but it's more about, I don't need to care about other people's clothes now and appearance. What a relief, of course. Because I don't care. It's not my business. It will not change their life. It will not change my life. So we're just wasting our energy.
So your mind was more quiet.
Quiet, quiet. And choosing what I want to occupy my mind with and what I don't want to occupy my mind with.
Yes,
That's liberating. That gives you like free will again.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, you had that as well?
Well, I am born and raised in the Netherlands, so
Okay.
there's a difference in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, but yeah, I like the fact that we are here in a yeah free country in which individuality is more present. Yeah, that you can think for yourself and choose what you want to do. Yeah, so I have seen the differences when I compare it to with my Chinese cultural background.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, but I have lived 9 months in Spain, and it was really refreshing. That was during my student period, and I thought, oh my gosh, I felt so at home in Spain, and through the Spanish culture, I valued my Chinese background more. So, and when I came back to the Netherlands, I even valued and appreciated the Dutch culture also even more. Why? Because my Spanish friends told me about their travels in the Netherlands, and I'm like, oh, I haven't been there yet. So yeah, in that way, I think the international community, as you mentioned before, that's a certain type of life, right?
Yeah, and the way that I think about the internationals living in another country other than their home country is that you have the Greek culture, you have the Dutch culture, and you have a million other cultures living in the Netherlands, because I am not Dutch, but I am not Greek either. I have created a new culture, a new subculture, you can say, that is unique. You have created another subculture, which is Chinese and Dutch, which is also unique. So all these people that are living in a new country, they don't abide by one culture only. They have created their own unique culture, which is why it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's so accepting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my experience
Inclusive.
with the international hub. Yeah, it's inclusive. People are interested in where you're coming from. Yeah, so it's more open.
Yeah.
Even though there are like so many cultures everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I want to move back with this conversation to like how we can recover from perfectionism.
All right.
And fear of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how would you go about it when a client knocks on your door and like, oh gosh, I'm so tired. I have done everything right, and maybe up until perfect, of course. But I can't anymore.
Yeah. I usually ask them the question like, when was the last time you felt happy?
Good question.
And there's awkward silence. They don't remember when was the last time, because that's perfectionism. It's the killer of joy, because you're working, you're on the hamster wheel. Even when you feel happy, it's only temporary, in the sense that you don't really believe it. You're happy because you made somebody else happy, or somebody else approved of you, recognized of you, gave you promotion, or gave you a next project, for example. So I'm happy because I think I got accepted by other people around me. But the metaphor that I'm using is that in perfectionism, joy and approval is like Teflon. You know, like it doesn't stick. It goes away. It doesn't stick with you. The real material that sticks with you, and the real compliment that will stick with you will happen only when you have the inner acceptance, the self-acceptance, not the external approval, but the inner acceptance.
And how do you work on that?
Well, that's something that it takes, of course, time, but we're working by realizing our self-worth. And the self-worth is not conditional. It's not like, I got a degree, I got a job, I got a house, I got a husband, check, I'm successful. That's nothing about nothing about your self-worth. Self-worth is unconditional. You're worthy from the moment you got born until the moment that you leave this planet. You're worthy either way.
Yes, and in theory, it sounds absolutely wonderful
Yeah,
and amazing.
yeah.
But like in practice, do you give like some type of exercises to the clients, or how will they develop towards that feeling?
Yes. So we work with dealing with moments of failure, because this is especially the moment that we challenge our self-worth. The moment of failure means that you feel shame. Oh my God, I am useless, worthless, I made a mistake, what people will think of me, anything that I've created so far goes to the trash bin, all this stuff, like we catastrophize. So this is the moment, a good moment to work on our self-worth, which means that whatever has happened to you doesn't mean anything about you. It's external circumstances. Even the other way, the other side of it, even when you succeed, doesn't say anything about you. I don't know if you know the story with the farmer and his son.
Maybe.
I love this story because there's a farmer and he has his farm, he has a horse, he has his son, and they're working every day on the farm. And then one day, his horse gets sick. I don't remember exactly the story, how it goes, but you will see. You will get the gist. The horse gets sick. And then the other villagers, they come to the farmer and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, what happened to you? That's horrible. And then the farmer says, yeah, maybe, but maybe not, we'll see. And then because the horse got sick, he got an extra allowance from the government. And then the villagers were like, wow, you're so lucky, look what happened to you. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see, maybe yes, maybe no. And then one day his son was riding on the horse, and then he fell from the horse and broke his leg. And then again the villagers, oh, we're so sorry for that, that's terrible that happened to you, everything will be ruined, you have to work double. Yeah? And then he said, yeah, I don't know whether this is horrible, maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. War starts, and then they're recruiting every healthy man, young man on the country, but because his son has broken his leg, he is not recruited for the war. So then the villagers comes, and then again, oh, you're so lucky, you get to keep your son, he's not going to go to the war, he's not going to die. Well, we don't know, maybe yes, maybe no. So this is exactly what the relationship with self-worth is, it's unconditional. You never know, or you're not defined by your successes or by your failures. You're not defined by good circumstances or bad circumstances. You're worthy as a human being. You're worthy, which means that you can relax, you can rest, you don't need to earn your rest, you don't need to work 40 hours so that you can rest in the weekend. That's something that you have, it's a birthright, you have it in you.
That's right. I couldn't be like that farmer, like with how he responds, the whole time with the same answer and in a monotonous way. And but I do understand what you mean.
It's not that he doesn't celebrate or he doesn't feel sad with the good or bad, but he keeps a little bit from a distance from identifying with the event. I'm not this event that happened. That event doesn't define myself, doesn't define my future. We'll see, because you cannot put a label on something as good or bad. That's about failure as well. We define failure as a mistake or a setback, and immediately we're like, oh my God, I failed. I have to change job, or I have to change career, or I have to find a new partner. But we cannot label it as failure, because what if it brings a fantastic opportunity? What if it opens a door to our self-awareness and our self-actualization that we said before, that we have never had the chance to live that? So we cannot define it as failure nor as success, because it hasn't run its course yet.
Yeah, so this is all about changing the mindset.
Reframing.
Right? Yeah, reframing what you always have believed it was like or would be, and if you could change that, then there's more space and freedom to feel differently about it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when we're working with the self-worth. One, about when we are experiencing failure, so that we can distance ourselves from the event. I'm not the event. The event happened to me, but I'm not the failing event or the mistake. And another way that we can work is by working with, as I said before, with creating opportunities that remind us that we are worthy. So when you are taking a break, for example, instead of feeling guilty that I'm not being productive, I'm not finishing my tasks, which is, again, the tangible results, focusing on the non-tangible aspects of life. I can rest without showing deliverables.
That's right, and it's important to create more of those experiences, right? Because you didn't you haven't had those experiences before, so you need to create your own.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're taking a break in the middle of the day, usually we don't allow ourselves to take a break because, like, it's working hours, and we're rushing to finish something. But then again, you're working on this reminder. That's my right. I deserve it unconditionally. I don't need to earn it. I don't need to finish the task in order to go to the toilet. Sometimes we even deprive ourselves from basic needs.
Oh yes. Oh, that's
no food, no water, no toilet, no rest, because I'm in the middle of something important. I cannot stop it.
I know, and those are basic human needs.
Yeah.
So you really have to, listen in to what your body tells you. Oh, yesterday I had a wonderful conversation with someone, and she said, you get all these free signals. You get all these free signals. You should listen to them and do something about it, or question yourself, like, why am I having a headache right now?
Yeah.
And I said, so that's interesting what you said. You said free. Those are free signals. What do you exactly mean by free? Well, she said, well, when you get sick, when you can't think anymore and you're really tired and your body aches in so many ways, then you go into a phase that will cost you so much more in terms of energy, of needing to put into the recovery process, of reaching out to people asking for help, of money as well, the financial resources. So that costs way more money than listening to your free signals, your free physical symptoms.
And that's another thing that happens when we heal from perfectionism. We reconnect with our body, which gives signals all the time. You need food, you need to rest, all these things. But we don't listen. We have detached from our body because we are more connected with other people's needs than with our needs. We're connected with signals from other people. We know their gestures and facial expressions. We know when they're disappointed.
And that's a trauma response.
That's a trauma response. And when we see a little bit of disappointment, we just go back to the hamster wheel again and we rush.
Yes, you made a really nice video about that on Instagram.
The trauma response. Yes. Yeah. Scanning their
yes,
faces.
I know.
Yeah.
And I think lots of people are suffering from that, from trauma responses without knowing that there is trauma to recover from. So it's wonderful to get that out there, right?
Yeah.
So what are the symptoms? What are you suffering? And is that normal? Or have you, how can I put this? Like, people have believed it to be normal.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Oh, you make an excellent point. Many times when I hear the narrative of perfectionism, how they speak to themselves, it's really harsh. Like, I need to work more. I'm so stupid. I make terrible mistakes. What I did doesn't matter. I have to continue working more. And it's really harsh. It can get even harsher. And I asked them the question, like, how does it sound? Like, how does it sound when you hear these words? I repeat this word. I write them down and I repeat it. How does it sound? And the first thing that they say is, oh, I'm used to it. I know, I'm used to it. It doesn't, yeah, I know.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, yeah. So then the next question that I ask is like, so if I say exactly these words to your child, is that okay? Don't you dare! No. Why? Because you said you're used to it. So if your child also gets used to it, it's going to be fine at the end. No. So then they realize that this is not okay. The fact that I'm used to it doesn't make it okay. It's like getting used to being hit every day, being spanked or being beaten. Okay, just the fact that you're used to it doesn't make it okay. So we're going back to the roots. It's not okay.
Yeah,
Can
that's
we?
a very good example.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sharp.
Yeah.
And it makes the client so aware of a part that was asleep still until that moment, right? It's like something awakens in them because it's about someone else. It's not about them.
Yes. It makes them aware of their pain. It hurts. Just the fact that I'm used to it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. I've been familiarized with a life of pain. And that's why when I ask the question, when was the last time you were happy? Of course, they don't have a question, an answer to that question. So going back to the realization that it hurts and I don't need it anymore. Perfectionism. And all the harsh messages and all the harsh behaviors and all the pushing and the self-doubt and the fears, I don't need it anymore. So that's the first step. We really have to realize that it hurts, because if we don't, then we're going to have that example that I said before. What if this time I can make it work? What if this time it's going to be different? Maybe I need my perfectionism. So we need the realization that it hurts and I don't need it anymore. The second most common question that I got asked is, what's wrong with being a perfectionist? What's wrong? This is what brought me here. This is what made me successful. 100% agree. I agree. Yes. Well, this is where we make the distinction between the healthy perfectionism and the toxic perfectionism. You can keep having crazy goals. I support you. You can, dream wild. You can have tasks and goals and standards in your life. Fantastic. Do that. But let's create a lifestyle that can support that. Because the toxic perfectionism cannot support that. It's not sustainable. You're going to crash. And all that time that you think you saved by being quick and efficient and productive, you're going to use it because you're going to be recovering from burnout. So it doesn't matter if you want to be quick, but in an unsustainable way, it's not going to save any time for you.
So could you speak a little bit more about healthy perfectionism?
Yeah. So this is where you keep all your standards, but at the same time you create a lifestyle that can sustain it. You allow yourself to rest. You allow yourself connection. You build on your self-acceptance and your self-worth. You know your true self. You know how exhausting it is to work on a goal that is not yours, it's somebody else's, and it doesn't make you happy. It's really a waste of your time, of your lifetime, and then eventually you realize that that was not my dream, that was my father's dream. I wish I knew that. So that's why I say, work on a goal that makes you happy.
Yes.
I'm not against goals.
So healthy perfectionism should be first and foremost about your own goals.
Yes, aligned with your values.
Yeah, aligned, yeah.
With what brings you joy. A little bit of Marie Kondo here. What brings you joy. Allowing yourself to change. Sometimes people think, but I've been working in this job for 30 years. I know that I love painting or singing or, being in a musical, but I have this job for 30 years. I cannot let it go. Can't you? Can we go there? Or can you allow yourself a little bit of, musical in your life,
Yes,
and
or
then
just
see
a little bit more
a
free time.
Yeah, a little bit of free time. Can we allow a little bit of what you love in your life? Because sometimes we completely give up on that altogether. Since I don't do that, I don't do it completely.
Yes.
At all. Never. Nada. So it's a different life. It's still a life with goals and achievements, but it feels different. It feels more fun.
More fun.
More rested.
Yes.
More creative, curious, playful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, then I have one final question for you.
Yeah.
What is your mission in life, Vassia?
My mission? Ooh. My mission is to be happy and to help also other people find what makes them happy.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.